10 Tampa Bay. This is a weather impact alert.
And right now we're breaking into programming for a weather impact alert as we continue to track Tropical Storm Debby. This is 10 Tampa Bay. I'm Jamison Euler.
And I'm Jenny Dean. Over the last few hours, we've seen storm impacts all across the Bay Area. We want to show you some incredible video that's been coming into our newsroom from our crews stationed all over Tampa Bay. In Sarasota, we've seen several road closures due to flooding, including on the road leading into Casperson Beach, and that's because of the erosion there. In Treasure Island, we're seeing some minor flooding in the Sunset Beach neighborhood, as well as on Gulf Boulevard.
And Tampa police right now have closed part of Bayshore Boulevard from Platte to Beta Bay Boulevard. Right now we're seeing more than a combined 300 delays and cancellations at Tampa International Airport. We're also keeping an eye on conditions on our local bridges. As we speak, the Skyway Bridge still open, but just a few hours ago, wind speeds there reached 43 miles per hour. At 45 miles per hour, troopers will shut down the bridge. While we haven't reached that point yet, they are asking you to be cautious when driving over the Skyway.
And we have seen multiple tornado warnings across the area.
Yeah, we certainly have. So let's send it over to Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins with the latest on Debby. Bob.
So no tornado warnings at the time. So that's good news. We do have a tornado watch for the entire viewing area until 8 o'clock tonight, but they're likely to go ahead and let that expire from south to north as we go through the evening hours. But it's going to be a while before that happens. So let's talk about it. Here we are. We have a 65 mile per hour tropical storm Debby just about due west of Tampa. Now it's west of Manatee County at this particular point. Winds 65 miles per hour, but it's moving still north to northwest around 13 miles per hour. So it's a slow mover, and that's dragging all of this rain through here. And if it moved faster, you'd get less rain. If it moves slower, you get more rain, and that's what we're getting right now. The pressure's down. Well, the pressure's staying. It's about 992. That's where it's been most of the day here. So there you go. It's probably due west of just about, I would say Longboat Key or Anna Maria Island, somewhere in the middle there. It will not get too much closer to the Pinellas County coast, if you will, until it gets up into this area in here. Landfall will be somewhere in here. So we're concerned as this gets a little bit stronger that there are going to be some higher winds and surge up here in Hernando and especially Citrus. And of course, you can imagine Levy County and going all the way up into the Big Bend. But this rainfall you see over South and Southwest Florida, that is our weather for the next several hours. We have most of the evening hours. Once we get past, and I'll show you this coming up about say 3 in the morning or so, 2 in the morning, we're going to start to see a few breaks in that rain shield. And this big rain shield you see here will be moving up across the northeastern part of the state. We're seeing rainfall anywhere from 2 to 3 inches per hour. Sometimes it's more than that. And now this is pretty typical tropical cyclone hurricane stuff that we're dealing with, which means where you see the brighter colors here, that's where you have the stronger, what we call rain bands, okay? When those come over top of where you live on that map, you're going to see heavier downpours, of course, but you're also going to see gustier winds. Then that's going to move on. The rain's going to dry, now it won't dry up, but it will reduce a little bit. You'll see a little less wind, and then you'll get another rain band. Each successive rain band will actually end up getting a little bit stronger. Okay, with winds and a little bit heavier rainfall. So there's the center right now. You can see, in fact, I'll go ahead and track this for you. This is Pinellas County right here. You can see it's about 88, 90 miles west-southwest of just about Clearwater Beach. You can give it about 95 miles west-southwest of Clearwater Beach at this point. There is the tornado watch box, which means we could see tornadoes. We do not have any warnings in the area right now, but we have the chance that we get those. Here's the forecast track. This is the latest as of 2 o'clock this afternoon. They are now calling for a 90 mile per hour hurricane making landfall in the Big Bend early tomorrow morning, right around sunrise or just after. That will be Hurricane Debby later tonight by 8 p.m. 75 mile per hour winds. You remember Idalia? Idalia went right off our coast. We had a solid 2 to 4 foot storm surge with that, okay? And that was 100 miles offshore. This is just a little bit closer, not much. But now we have raised the surge up to 3 to 5 feet in Tampa, and I'm going to show you that coming up as well. Here's the track, and look, we at least will be done with this thing, right? The folks up in the southeast Georgia and the Carolina, especially South Carolina and North Carolina, they're going to get a deluge, and it may hang out through, well, here's the track. That's Thursday, right here, near Charleston, Myrtle Beach. By Thursday, it makes landfall on Monday. So that it's going to be a whole nother story for them as it comes up the coast. watches and warnings. We have a tropical storm warning for just about everybody. Tropical storm watch for our inland counties. We're not going to see as much wind where you see the yellow here. That's the reason why. But we do have a hurricane warning, mainly north of us and for the waters that are just off of Hernando and Citrus County. Forecast models, spaghetti plots, looking like spaghetti. Obviously, we don't have that issue here for us, but this is what we do have. So let's kind of walk this through here, and then I'll get it back to you guys here in just a minute. But this is the timing. So this is Sunday at 8 p.m., and you can see where we now are starting to turn the winds almost to the south, but then after that, they'll go south-southwest. Then this is 3 in the morning. That's going to be a surge issue. We have a surge issue right now. Right? By later tonight, we have high tide. We just passed high tide. And it's a new moon, so it's a higher tide, 2.7 feet. Then that's not even with the wind blowing the water on. The wind will be blowing onshore later tonight and overnight. The tide's only a foot lower than that at about 4 in the morning. So that's enough to make that difference up. Whatever we get late this afternoon and early this evening, we're going to get it, I'd say, very close to that overnight hours as far as surge goes. Now, Monday morning, 10 a.m., there are breaks here. The majority of this is out of here, but these rain bands will still be coming through. They will put down quite a bit of rain in a short amount of time, but they will be getting thinner and thinner as that goes through. And then you can see by 7 p.m. on Monday, tomorrow afternoon, we're still seeing rain bands come through. Now let's talk winds. Winds are in the 30s along the coast. Remember, they are blowing offshore, right? So the wind actually gets knocked down over land because of friction. But later tonight, when they turn on shore, they're going to pick up even more because there's nothing stopping them out here, right? 36 mile per hour wind in St. Pete. The wind coming across the bay towards St. Pete's gusting at 46. We've seen gusts to 50s at St. Pete. Tropical storm force sustained winds are 39 or higher. Let me back that up, show you what we're getting for current winds. We just about have that for St. Pete and Clearwater. We do not at this point in the Tampa Bay area have sustained winds of 39 miles per hour. Could get them, especially overnight tonight. There are the gusts. You can see 43 in Tampa, 36 in Davis Islands. And here's that forecast for the winds. And what's important to notice here is that wind direction. This is 10 p.m. tonight. So my kind of rule of thumb is after 9, we'll start to go into this south to southwest wind, and that's when the water will start to come up even more so. Now, at the same time, the tide's dropping. But it's not going to drop much because the wind's holding it up, and I think it even goes up more, especially around 2 in the morning. This is about 5 in the morning. 50 mile per hour wind gusts, 40 mile per hour wind gusts along the coast with winds in the 30s, sustained in the 30s along the coast, 20s inland, and that's pushing water there. That's as the storm moves on by. And so we obviously have the tropical storm warnings. We have storm surge warnings for our area. I'll go over these real fast, and then I'll get you back to you guys. This is the change. This is the update right here. It's now 3 to 5 foot surge in the bay as well, but also all of Pinellas County beaches and all the way up through Citrus and Hernando. Now, Citrus, we're going to be, actually, Crystal River is closer to 7. All right, a 7-foot surge. So do the math of what you saw for Idalia. For those folks, I know you up there, you've been there forever, and you know what these storms do. 7 foot is what I would plan on in Crystal River for a surge, and that's going to get up there to US 19. 5 to 8, you get north of there. 6 to 10, just to the right of wherever it makes landfall, which is up here on the Big Bend area. So there's some of the timing. I gave you the tides here. This is the forecasted tide, the predicted tide with the moon. A new moon pulls more, so it's higher tide. The high tide overnight is a foot shorter. But again, we don't, at this time, have the winds blowing onshore, blowing water on us. We will at this time. So it's going to be very, very similar to what we see this afternoon to this evening, if not a little bit more, but it's going to be close. Right now, the southeast wind is blowing water up against the intercoastal canals and things like that. We've had that in Tierra Verde earlier. Expect more of that, especially as the winds will pick up here just a little bit more over the next several hours. And that southwest wind will go after 9 p.m. this evening, guys.
All right, thanks, Bobby.
All right. Debbie, far from done.
Yeah. Still got a lot to do.
So right now we also have crews spread out all across the Bay Area checking on the conditions for you.
All right, 10 Tampa Bay's Andrea Lyon in Hudson Beach with the latest on the conditions there.
Just in the last hour, we've seen conditions rapidly decrease in this area. It was calm, barely breezy. Now the wind is starting to whip up. The rain's coming in heavier water actually rising several feet just in the last couple of hours. And I want to show you, it's hard to tell, but there was a lot more to show as far as the seawall over here. That water coming up at least 2 feet already, I would say. But the neat part about this, the Florida culture, you see people out here on the deck watching this storm come through. We have several people that have been walking up and down along this bay area here to check out just the rain coming in, the water coming up, and these interesting Florida summer storms that a lot of us are used to. This one so far a lot more tame than the ones we've seen in prior years, especially the one Idalia, which came through this area last year, sending, 7 feet of surge into this town, causing many people to be rescued. Today, though, as far as we're seeing at this moment in the early afternoon, we're just seeing a lot of ponding and regular areas that flood when it tends to rain or a high tide comes in. A lot of that, though, going to get worse throughout the day. In Hudson, Andrea Lyon, 10 Tampa Bay.
All right, let's head up now to Citrus County, where 10 Tampa Bay's Jennifer Titus has been in Crystal River since early this morning.
Yeah, this is an area she has covered many times before, and she's showing us conditions have started to go downhill considerably in the last hour.
Yeah, it was just after 2 o'clock here when we started to see the first rain of the day really come through here. Those first bands from Tropical Storm Debby, and they are coming strong. This water here also coming in. Just a few hours ago, we could see the sand, and you can see how quickly that water is rising. Right now, there's an estimated storm surge threat of 3 to 5 feet here in Crystal River, and that's why there's a mandatory evacuation for all of Zone A in Citrus County. I was just talking to 2 people who lived at that house for Hurricane Idalia. They tell me they had 36 inches of water inside there. Every single one of these places was flooded. Again, that was a 7 to 9 foot storm surge from Idalia. Right now it's estimated at 3 to 5 feet, so they are monitoring it. They are going to be moving their cars up to higher ground. We've seen a lot of people sandbagging, boarding up. They were preparing for this, and right now we are just, again, starting to see those first bands from Tropical Storm Debby come through here to Crystal River.
All right, thank you, Jen. And as this storm ramps up, now is a good time to download our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app on your favorite streaming device.
There you can get updates throughout the evening and day and check out our Hurricane Hacks section to help you through the rest of storm season.